we were taking full control. Hey, but what I was trying to say though was Lollipop Man. Uh, a lot of people start feeling like, it ain't good to let your blackness show. Or to be, to sing, dance, swim. We used to be magnificent swimmers, and all in accord with nature. Now we too busy caught up with the technology and the phones and, and blah, blah, blah. So not now. I think hip-hop has revitalized a lot of, it's down and it's cool and it's hip to be African. Yeah. But at the time, they were really not playing that type of stuff on the radio. If you remember, they phased out James Brown, Bobby Womack, Johnny Taylor for the nice, streamlined, cleaner disco groups like Chic and all that. And George knew that was going down, and that's why he was fighting it. One of his albums was called Rescue Dance Music from the Blahs. You know what I'm saying? Most of all, he needs the funk. Help him find the funk. Get your funk back. Woo! So you didn't know that it was wise in educating you up to like different stuff. But as you got older, you realize, I'm 25 now. I can't be running around talking about, I freak out. You know what I mean? What does that mean to me now? But here's my chance to dance my way out of my constrictions. And when One Nation Under Groove is still there. And I always felt like the ones who were like Gil Scott-Heron and all them, like I was saying, that was like who you knew were pro-black. It was too obvious. They're preaching to the converted. The people who already like black power, listen to that. George was getting the little just ghetto kids and the dope fiends and the winos and the this and the that. Everybody. The ones who needed it the most. That's what Pac does too. Pac is so much like George Clinton that way. So when you were saying, you asked me earlier if I felt that artists now aren't subliminal enough. The ones that are doing it are doing it. There's a lot of spiritual artists out there. A lot of the brothers in Wu-Tang are on that tip. Tupac was definitely riding that line of, it's cool to be a thug,
You don't get it until afterwards. Like, that's what I was saying about the retrospect. Like, you're not aware of what's going on at the time until after something happens or they're not around or anything like that. People start reinterpreting it and seeing how much meaning, like what Tupac had. And at the time that he was actually there, the present, you don't really have that interpretation.
Well, that's what it needed. See, when the powers that be, God, if you will, that light, when that light shines through somebody, often that person doesn't even know that it's being used. But if you handle that light well, they'll continue to shine it through you. If you don't handle it well, they'll take it from you. And that's like artists with short-lived careers compared to the artists with the longer careers. They handle that light well. And I just think Pac, with that not knowing, to get off George for a second and to get on Pac, okay, I think Pac knew that Chuck D and people who believed in Chuck D and X-Clan, other than the music, just like I'm talking about the message of it, these were the backpack wearing, beads all the way down with the culture already. But how you going to convert these little brothers with alcoholic fathers and mothers on welfare? Them brothers want to know that you just like they are. So Pac embodied the thug life to get his message through. And for every who-riding ass California dreaming, he had to keep your head up. For every I get around, I mess with the hoes, he had a dear mama. So that was the balance. I feel George rode the same line. I remember my mom saying, why are you listening to them? What? They dope fiends. What? All of this. I don't think P-Funk really focused on any of that. There were guys in the group who did drugs, guys who didn't, classically trained musicians who didn't mess around at all, like Bernie Worrell. Gay guys that was in the group. It was all encompassing, just like life is. But
contradicting too.
Yeah, contradicting, because life is contradictory. You don't wake up in a good mood all the time. I can't just believe that, Lionel Richie is always in a state of, I've been around with you, Don't you ever get mad? We'll speak on it. You know what I'm saying? And all of that was in it. And on top of that, George was clowning the other side without them knowing. See, they shut Gil Scott down and Last Poets down James Brown. They couldn't shut George down because they couldn't decipher it. They couldn't decode it. He was clowning their dances. Our dance was the freak. You know, she did the freak, never missing a beat, yeah. She did the jerk, it didn't work, no. She did the monkey, hell no, it wasn't funky, no more. You know what I'm saying? It was just like slipping it on you and letting brothers know our heritage too, slipping it on you. Partying on the mothership. I'm the mothership connection. We have returned to claim the pyramids. So that's little young brothers who like George because he had a joint in his mouth and looked cool. By the same token, here's a young brother who's probably may not even been in school, but he already knows that the pyramids belong to us. You know? Woo! And enlightening him about the drug thing too. When you're taking every kind of pill, nothing seems to ever cure you. I can play that right too. Wait, real quick, wait. Can't nobody play Funkadelic like that. Woo! Except Amp Fiddler, he taught me.